Warning, this video contains content not suitable for younger viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Time to go put this to good use. I've heard countless times that some people like a particular game so much that they actually want to live in that game's world. That being said, they should probably think twice about that decision because some video game worlds would be painful and torturous to live in. I mean, let's be real here. Despite how amazing the concept sounds, in actuality, the heroes and the countless plethora of common citizens in the worlds that most games take place in are forced to deal with some nasty and abhorrent abominations, alongside all manners of disasters throughout their lives. So for this countdown, I'm going to list the top 10 worst offenders of these terrorists in my top 10 worst games to live in. Now, just as a reminder, I'm not saying these games themselves are bad. In fact, there are some amazing games on here, but given what goes on in these games, you'd best avoid setting foot in their universes at all costs. Also, I'm only including games I've played, so none of these games will be on here. Lastly, due to the violent nature of some of the games on this list, I'm putting up a graphic content warning, so just like episode 1, viewer discretion is advised, even if it's for a completely different reason this time. Enough said though, I'm gonna turn on my portal of power and see what insanity these games have to offer. Time to ignite my flame! Alright, what's our first destination? Whoa! My portal of power can travel through time! 15XX, feudal Japan, time for some action! Is this seat taken? I'd rather be in the audience for this one. But seriously though, Sengoku Basara encompasses all the war and bloodshed that Japan had to endure in the Sengoku area and then some. I mean, we've got a giant mechanical warlord which attempting to demolish or even disturb would be suicide, a vengeful psychopath on a quest to avenge the death of his master, a soulless ghost girl who haunts the four corners of the country after her family was torn to shreds, and need I even mention Oda Nobunaga himself? Believe me when I say that I would never want to be slaughtered among the random soldiers and villagers that get cut down by the thousands in the War of the Century, and I'm certain that no one else would want to either. Yeah, I don't claim to be a connoisseur of Japan in the 16th century, but if history class has taught me one thing, things played out nothing like this hell of a country. Sayonara Basara, I'm comboing right out of here! Alright, back in modern times, this should be a nice welcome break. Oh look, there's a tournament going on! So when can we expect the Super Turbo tournament? But in all seriousness, the world of Street Fighter is constantly under the threat of tyranny and terrorism. Several despicable people and organizations wage and fight in tournaments of war and carnage to come out on top and rule the world with an iron fist. I mean, we've got an army of mind-controlled dolls performing orders of terror while acting like soulless robots, and evil energy originating from an ancient assassination technique potentially corrupting its user into a monster of violence and revenge, the Illuminati of all organizations with their deader-than-dead memes, and that annoying as heck resurrection! And to top it all off, Bison. Because of course it had to be Bison. Now before we get Raging Demon to die 1,000 deaths, I might as well warp to the next world stage and pick my next bout there. Oh, well this looks rather desolate and depressing. What's going on here? Okay, just do this like all the rest, and everything will be okay. I'll be honest, I really wish I could have introduced this game in a more positive video, because Resonance of Fate has to be one of the greatest games I've played in recent memory. That being said, the setting of the game, the steampunk world of Fossil, should never be considered for a vacation hotspot. I mean, we've got dirty and dangerous slums for the poorest of poor, where nasty gangsters and gremlins like to pickpocket and cause untold terror and devastation, fragile crystals that could mean the difference between life and death, and some very unlucky saps being abused as lab experiments.
For science, you monster.
So yeah, it's safe to say the clock is ringing for me to ride an elevator straight out of here. I think this is only number 8. Oh look, I'm out of town. Ooh, they're having a festival! How did this world end up on here again? Oh. Well, hello Majora's Mask, my old friend. It had to be you, didn't it? But seriously though, do you really want to live in a world constantly under the threat of that big, scary, and not pink moon, repeating the same 3 days with all your memory wiped after each reset? Even ignoring the moon looming over you, the world of Termina is filled with conflict regardless. The poisoning of the Deku Kingdom and the rage of the king after his beautiful daughter's departure. The endless winter and the struggle of the nearby Gorons to stop the sub-zero temperatures, pirates ravaging the oceans in that lovely Great Bay Temple, and the undead haunting the Ikana Canyon, unable to seek rest due to a ravaging curse. If you still want to live life in this world of despair, you'd better hope you brought the Ocarina of Time with you. As for me, I'm warping out to the Song of Time, and no amount of moon landings is gonna stop my giant leap for mankind. Okay, we've escaped the moon. What now? Oh, this village looks like it's away from danger. Maybe I can rest here for a sec after all the carnage I've been through. Whoever left that giant gaping hole right over the town, you left your lights on. Bravely default. A series of worlds imprisoned by a chain of natural disasters and crazed psychopaths ready to commit all sorts of chaos. We've got a greedy penny pincher sapping the desert away of its water, led by the country's tyrant of a pharaoh, a perverted fancy man abusing the ladies for his products and seduction, a genocidal chemist who is not afraid to slaughter countless innocents, including his own allies, and the most idiotic warlord ever imaginable running the whole mess. It also doesn't help that a deceptive light pillar constantly opens the warp hole to new worlds for these disasters to repeat over and over again. Yeah, I would blame spoiler warning, but honestly, these worlds have been doomed for quite some time. Next world before the Pillar of Light awakens again and gives everyone amnesia. Alright, now we're at a haunted mansion. Makes you wonder what the price for a ticket is. Excuse me, sir. How much for one ticket? I'm sorry. I'm lots of cash short of one blood sacrifice. I'll let you handle the next segment. Welcome to the old school terror of Castlevania. In this house of horrors, join the very monsters now as they deal with the horrors of knockback and frustrated sluggish movement. Horrific curses that will devour in days. Eldritch abominations terrorizing the entirety of Europe. Made it so fair being inducted and destroyed as a sacrifice to all sorts of evil. Demonic priests corrupted the faint bloodline and condemning them to the depths of the demonic house. The reincarnation of evil called Mountain Fate. Sadistic cults attempting to resurrect the ultimate monster. Giant demons tearing apart in a very fabric of time. The ever-constant threat of death with their reaper. And the main attraction of the ghoulish tour, Count Dracula himself. All of this for the low price of one blood sacrifice for the miserable little pile of secrets. Join us. It's not a horrible thing to have a curse. Forget it. I'm out of here. What is this? Oh, come on! That took a century to make! Can I please take a break? Please? I just want a break! Where even am I? Oh, I'm in my own realm. Ah, home sweet. I give up. As childish as the Pokemon series may seem, the world of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon is flooded with eldritch abominations. A meteor intending to destroy all life on the planet, leaving it a barren wasteland? Time freezing in several areas and a frozen planet as an intended conclusion? Bitter hatred and depression caused by a giant icicle? Pokemon being turned to stone and possessed by evil if they have even the slightest amount of negativity inside them? This series has conflict after conflict with only short bursts of peace for the planet. And to think, we're only at number 4. What could possibly be worse than this? I'm out! Okay, I'm almost done. Only 2 more to go. What's next? Oh, God, no. Why? How? How is it possible that living conditions this dreadful could exist in any form of media? What you are seeing before your eyes is a world constantly brought into war after bloody war. What begins with the evil wizard Gardev reviving the dragon Medeus to wreak unspeakable havoc leads to bloody wars like the clash between twin gods Duma and Milla, alongside heinous tyrants like Arvis, mass murderer of the army of his best friend. Followed by the wrath of the Morphs led by Lord Nurgle waiting on the Dread Isle, the Kingdom of Burn led by Zephiel reawakening a forbidden dragon to effectively reset the world back to zero, a demon king of legends past rampaging an entire continent with his only weakness being a bunch of magical rocks, several races of furries being tormented by ancient gods salty from banishment, the Mad King Gangrel committing blackmail to start a deadly war followed by the Grimwheel and the Doomed Future, and the 2 warring kingdoms manipulated by possession and pervertedness. These guys have their hands full, guys, and that's just the big bosses themselves. When you take into account all of the countless servants, manipulators, rouges, and God knows who else working to make everything worse, then we have a war that will likely go on for countless millennia. Honestly, the only advice I can give here is for you to just pick your poison and hope for the best. With that in mind, I might as well take refuge in the dishonorable mentions while the Faustin deals the finishing blow. Before we head into the worst of the worst, let's take a vacation in these dishonorable mentions. Since there are a lot of games that would be nightmares to migrate to, this dishonorable mentions list will be somewhat longer than usual. Cave Story, Stay Away from Roses, Echo the Dolphin, Aliens, Just Aliens, Kingdom Hearts. What kind of plot is this? Mega Man, between Wily and Mechanical Terrors, I'm not even gonna bother. Plants vs. Zombies. In this world, brains equals lunch. Streets of Rage. The wrath of Mr. X has caused all sorts of terror on the Streets of Rage. Super Smash Bros. Brawl. These aren't your everyday nuclear bombs. These are subspace bombs. Undertale. Fight for your soul or get dunked on. Pick your poison. Wonderful 101. More aliens. Just more aliens. And Yard's Revenge. Giant space flea from nowhere. Enough said. Alright, I've braved the most dreadful of disasters and the most vile of eldritch abominations. I can go for one more world, so do your worst, game! Nope, I'm out! Not dealing with this! I won't do it! I'm done! I'm done! I am done! Oh no, I'm done for here. What you are witnessing right before your eyes is the utter terror and madness that is Metroid. Throughout the horrors that this world constantly spews out, planet after planet is put under constant peril by omnipotent forces, and defenses are more often than not completely defenseless and limited. If it's not a giant brain unleashing gelatinous parasites unto the galaxy, it's a deadly poison corrupting whoever happens to end up in its rage and unleashing evil unto more parts of the galaxy. If it's not an evil clone causing atrocity after atrocity while being led by said poison, it's a group of mercenaries gone insane from a deadly energy and going on killing streaks against each other. If it's not the titular parasites ravaging planets and evolving into even more deadly forms, it's a murderous purple dragon experimenting with said parasites and entire planets being shattered in the blink of an eye. If it's not a corrupted organization farming evil beings and having their mercenaries suffer PTSD, it's a multicolored gelatinous parasite feeding on countless organisms and reproducing horrifying clones of intelligent life forms. All of this madness and insanity is conflict after conflict with never a moment of respite. At least with all of the other worlds we've been through, I can at the very least say that the civilians get to enjoy even a few short bursts of peace every once in a while. This world, however, is constant war after bloody war, with never a guarantee that the universe will survive until tomorrow. All of this makes Metroid arguably the worst game to live in. Oh, come on, Portal of Power, please send me home. I can't stand another second in this demonic abomination. Ugh. I'm the Blazing Larvesta. Moral of the story: plan your vacations carefully. Actual image of me during most of this countdown's development.